Okay, I'm going to begin introductions. As you noticed, I'm recording this webinar. If everyone can stay muted, that would be great. You can have your cameras on, but if you can stay muted, that would be really helpful. There'll be lots of time at the end to have discussion and questions if you want. My name is Tim Street. I am the Secretary of British Pugwash and also the coordinator of Student Young Pugwash. And in case you don't know what Pugwash is, the Pugwash Conferences on Science and World Affairs uses the best social and natural science expertise to inform government and the public about issues relating to weapons of mass destruction, peace, the environment, and the social responsibility of scientists. So Student Young Pugwash in the UK gives students and young professionals the opportunity to present their thoughts and findings on these vital topics. So today we're talking about artificial intelligence, which of course is a subject of immediate and growing concern. And SYP did its annual conference on this topic in January. So you could check out all our materials on that on our website. The revolutionary potential of AI could significantly reshape global society for good or ill. And this webinar will explore current and future applications of AI in relation to nuclear issues, international peace and security. So I'm going to pass over now to Matteo, who's my co-chair, who's going to introduce himself, and then I'll introduce our two speakers today. Matteo, do you want to say hello?
Hello, hi everybody. I'm Matteo Bordin, and I'm a PhD student in physics from Queen's University Belfast, and also a Students' Young Pugwash board member.
Yeah, and we also have another one of our board members here today, which is Jan. So I'll say hello to Jan for him. So hi, good to see you, Jan, and also Ola is also on our board. So the two speakers today are Ali Alkis and Mariam Mundladze. And Ali is a PhD candidate studying international relations in Turkey, and he's also a WINS ambassador, World Institute for Nuclear Security ambassador to Turkey. Mariam has a BA in International Relations from the Free University of Tbilisi in Georgia, and she's currently studying Chinese studies and language in China. So I'm going to pass over now to Ali. So if you want to share your screen and begin your presentation, that would be great. Please have a think about questions you'd like to ask Ali and Mariam. They'll speak for about 10 to 15 minutes, and after that, we'll have a Q&A. So Ali, over to you.
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ali Alkis, WINS Ambassador to Turkey and PhD candidate at Hacettepe University. Today, I will explore the convergence of artificial intelligence and nuclear security, focusing on the opportunities that arise at this intersection, the challenges we may encounter, and the ethical considerations we must address Before I dive in, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Tim for his support for this webinar. I appreciate the opportunity to contribute to this dialogue on AI and implications for global security. The intersection of artificial intelligence and nuclear security is paramount importance in today's technological era. My presentation focuses on exploring the integration of AI into nuclear security measures. Understanding the potential advantages, challenges, and ethical dimensions of AI in nuclear security is imperative to me. Protecting nuclear assets is crucial for global security, impacting geopolitical stability and preventing catastrophic events. While traditional nuclear security measures rely on physical barriers and procedural protocols, they face growing complexities. AI offers enhanced capabilities in monitoring, control, and detection within nuclear facilities. However, AI's application to nuclear security remains an unexplored frontier to most. My research aims to comprehensively explore the advantages and challenges of AI integration in nuclear security. Urgent issues include susceptibility to cyber attacks, ethical considerations, and data reliability from my perspective. Insights from my research can inform future policy, technological development, and operational protocols. The subsequent sections will delve into the AI's potential to revolutionize monitoring, control, detection in nuclear security, while critically assessing the challenges such as cybersecurity risks, ethical considerations, and data reliability. Let's start with advantages of AI. AI enhances monitoring, control, and detection of nuclear materials and facilities, thereby improving operational efficiency and safety. Its analytical capabilities bolster operational efficiency and safety within nuclear and identifying nuclear and radioactive materials. The integration of AI into radiation protection software further enhances worker safety across various industries. Real-time data analysis facilitated by AI enables quicker and more accurate threat detection and response. By identifying patterns and anomalies, AI aids in timely intervention to prevent security breaches. Continuous learning and adaptation mechanisms improve AI's performance, ensuring it stays ahead of emerging nuclear security risks. Additionally, AI predicts and prevents potential accidents by analyzing data and identifying vulnerabilities. Furthermore, automation through AI reduces reliance on manual intervention, consequently minimizing the human error. Tasks such as access control, surveillance analysis, and inventory management are automated, allowing for more efficient resource utilization and enabling personnel to focus on critical activities. In summary, AI significantly contributes to enhanced monitoring, improved threat response, and better radiation protection, and increased operational efficiency in the realm of nuclear security. However, alongside these advantages, significant challenges emerge. The benefits of AI integration in nuclear security are shadowed by concerns and potential pitfalls. Foremost among these challenges are vulnerabilities to cyber threats, unauthorized access, and the risk of data manipulation. Ethical considerations loom large, particularly in scenarios involving autonomous decision-making, sparking debates about accountability, transparency, and biases inherent in AI algorithms. The reliability and validation of data used AI systems stands as a critical factor to avoid false alarms or missed threats in nuclear security operations. Striking a balance between human control and AI automation becomes imperative, with human oversight necessary in critical situations to prevent errors and uphold ethical decision-making standards. While AI undeniably offers numerous advantages in nuclear security, addressing challenges such as cyber threats, data reliability, ethical considerations necessitates concerned international cooperation and the development of clear regulatory frameworks. In this context, the effectiveness of AI in nuclear security hinges directly on the quality and accuracy of underlying data. Continuous monitoring and validation are indispensable to ensure data reliability and to mitigate the risks of errors or incorrect conclusions. Given that AI systems heavily rely on data for both training and decision-making processes, the accuracy and reliability of these data become paramount. Techniques such as cross-validation and outlier detection can be employed to assess and address any inconsistencies or errors present in the data. Another critical consideration is the presence of bias in AI algorithms, often stemming from historical data, reflecting societal prejudice. To mitigate this risk, careful curation of training data and the utilization of diverse and representative datasets are essential. Furthermore, ongoing monitoring and evaluation of AI outputs are necessary to detect and address any bias that may emerge over time. Ultimately, ensuring data reliability and validation are crucial for AI systems in nuclear security to effectively enhance monitoring, control, and detection capabilities. By prioritizing the accuracy and fairness of data, AI has the potential to optimize nuclear security procedures and effectively mitigate potential risks. Another key point is the right balance, as I mentioned before. Achieving the delicate equilibrium between automation and human oversight stands as pivotal in human-machine interface of nuclear security. Ethical considerations in scenarios involving autonomous decision-making demand the establishment of clear guidelines and frameworks. The integration of AI in nuclear security prompts significant ethical concerns, particularly regarding the autonomous decision-making process. Despite AI's enhanced capabilities, human involvement remains indispensable in critical decision-making processes. Ethical inquiries encompass issues of accountability, transparency, and bias inherent in AI decision-making algorithms. Robust security measures are imperative to thwart unauthorized access and prevent data manipulation within AI systems. Furthermore, ensuring data reliability and validation are imperative for ethical decision-making within AI systems. Thus, balancing automation with human oversight, establishing transparent guidelines, addressing concerns of unauthorized access and data manipulation, ensuring data reliability, and fostering international cooperation emerge as crucial steps in effectively integrating AI into nuclear security measures. On international level, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, assumes a central role in fostering cooperation and knowledge sharing within the realm of nuclear security. The IAEA hosts interdisciplinary forums such as AI for Atoms platform, which addresses evolving intersection of nuclear security and AI integration. Through such initiatives, it facilitates discussions on emerging trends and best practices. Moreover, the IAEA actively encourages member states to collaborate and exchange information on AI utilization in nuclear security. It provides a platform for sharing experiences and disseminating best practices. Through its technical cooperation program, the IAEA supports member states in enhancing their capacities in AI applications for nuclear technology. This includes organizing training courses, workshops, and expert missions aimed at skill development and knowledge transfer. Furthermore, the IAEA plays an important role in facilitating the development of international guidelines and standards for responsible and safe use of AI in the nuclear field. This ensures adherence to principles of non-proliferation, safeguards, and security standards. Additionally, the IAEA fosters international cooperation to address challenges and risks associated with AI integration in nuclear technology. By promoting dialogue among member states, industry stakeholders, and experts, it seeks to mitigate potential risks and foster collaborative solutions. In addition to the work of IAEA, international cooperation at state levels and robust regulatory frameworks are indispensable for navigating the landscape of AI in nuclear technology. Collaboration among states facilitates knowledge sharing, dissemination of best practices, and establishment of common standards and guidelines for the use of AI technology in nuclear. Through collective action, cooperation can effectively address global challenges such as cyber threats and unauthorized access. Regulatory frameworks play an important role in ensuring the safe and responsible implementation of AI. These frameworks should encompass crucial aspects such as data reliability, transparency, accountability, with provisions for oversight and enforcement. As I mentioned, the IAEA assumes a critical role in promoting international cooperation, including capacity building, technical support, and coordination efforts. By fostering cooperation and establishing robust regulatory frameworks, states can bolster the efficiency and effectiveness of their nuclear security measures, while ensuring the safe integration of AI technologies. Collaboration and regulatory diligence are key to navigating complexities of AI in nuclear technology and safeguarding our global interests. Based on the insights learned from this research, I have few recommendations to enhance the integration of AI into nuclear security. Starting with investment in cybersecurity. Substantial investments should be allocated to bolster cybersecurity measures aimed at safeguarding AI-driven systems from cyber threats. The other one is continuous monitoring, timely updates, and collaboration with the cybersecurity experts, which are important to ensure robust protection against potential vulnerabilities. The third one is ethical guidelines and training. Clear ethical guidelines pertaining to integration of AI in nuclear security and other parts of nuclear technology should be formulated and strictly adhered to. Additionally, comprehensive training programs must be implemented to enhance the understanding of AI-generated information among human operators. This will foster a balanced human-machine interface, ensuring effective decision-making and ethical conduct in nuclear security operations. And the last one is international cooperation. Recognizing the global nature of nuclear security, fostering international collaboration is paramount. IAEA should continue to play an important role in facilitating cooperation, knowledge sharing, and establishment of common standards. Collaborative efforts will bolster collective resilience against emerging threats and promote the adoption of best practices worldwide. And lastly, research and development. Sustained research and development endeavors are essential to address existing challenges and capitalize on the potential advantages offered by AI in nuclear security. Adequate funding and support should be provided for innovative solutions, with a focus on interdisciplinary collaboration to foster technological advancement and address evolving threats effectively. While the integration of AI into nuclear security presents significant opportunities, it is crucial to prioritize ethical considerations, cybersecurity measures, and data reliability. The proposed recommendations aim to guide future initiatives in leveraging AI to protect critical nuclear materials and facilities, emphasizing the importance of a holistic collaborative approach to address the evolving landscape of nuclear security. To conclude my presentation, I can summarize my presentation in few words. It is like this: the integration of AI into nuclear security undeniably enhances operational efficiency, security, and radiation protection. By automating routine tasks, predicting potential accidents, and optimizing radiation dose management, AI liberates human operators to focus on critical decision-making tasks. However, this integration should also pose challenges. Susceptibility to cyber attacks, ethical dilemmas arising from autonomous decision-making, and ensuring data reliability are significant concerns. We should address these challenges, and there should be established clear guidelines, frameworks, and accountability structures which will ensure that AI decisions align with the human values and priorities. By proactively addressing these challenges, we can harness the full potential of artificial intelligence in nuclear security while upholding safety, security, ethics, and reliability. Thank you so much for listening to me. I will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Ali, thank you so much for that presentation, which was really good, really interesting and thorough. Matteo's clapping. I would clap, but I have lots of things to do apart from clapping, but I will clap a bit. Matteo, Ali and Mariam, I'm wondering if you had any questions for each other. I might turn to Matteo first if you had any questions and then ask Ali and Mariam. I can see some people are raising their hands as well. But yeah, Matteo, did you want to ask a question first?
At least one person has to have it.
Yes, I'd like to ask my first question to Ali. So my first question for you is that if you can provide an example of how we control AI, or can we enhance security through AI in nuclear field? So you can give just a brief example of how can we do this?
Thank you, Matteo. It is always nice to see things in practice rather than theory. As far as I know, there are some already implementation of AI in nuclear facilities. These are mostly related to the face recognition and access controls, but I am sure in the following decade, there will be more application of AI in nuclear materials accounting or access to the vital areas where category 1 nuclear materials are stored. And I believe there is also a high chance that we will be seeing more use of AI in control of staff access to other areas, or how to say, identifying anomalies between accessed areas. For example, if a person is not authorized to enter a space but tries from time to time, I believe AI will flag it. Okay, this person with access code is trying to access in an area that is not authorized. So there will be some identification of red flags in nuclear facilities, which will help us to mitigate insider risks. However, for now, we can believe we can trust on AI capability to understand if there is a false flag. For example, we are receiving an alarm from a remote control camera, but it is all the time when there is a rain. So it is a false flag coming out of rain, but it gives us a warning, urging us to control it. So by creating patterns like this, AI will help nuclear facilities, nuclear workers to understand the potential implications so that they will not waste their times. I hope this answers your question, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. And I have a follow-up question to you about this, and it's more about what you mentioned about ethical guidelines and training. So my question to you is that do you think that we will ever train an AI to be as ethical as a human being, or do you think that human control will always be necessary? Human and AI.
If I correctly understand your question, you are asking for the human-machine interface, right? So human-machine interface, right?
Yeah, what I'm asking you is that do you think that an ethical training of AI will be at a certain point in the future will be enough to have an AI as ethical as a human being, or do you think that human being control will always be necessary for AI?
I'm a little bit pessimistic about it, so I think AI will be it should be, at least for I can talk about nuclear facilities. It should be always under the control of humans, and of course we shouldn't forget about innovation. We should invest in innovative technology, but when we consider the potential implications of misuse of nuclear materials or any miscalculations in nuclear facilities, these could cause some unintended and transborder problems. So considering all of these, we cannot hold AI responsible for any acts that might be taken as a decision. So I believe that it should be always a human decision, human having capacity to control AI so that we don't have any unwanted results. But this doesn't necessarily mean that humans will not make mistakes. We have been making many mistakes in nuclear facilities. Unfortunately, some of them cause so much trouble both to environment and the public, but at least we know who to hold accountable, or we know how to train those people. But for AI, it is open to manipulation, and for critical assets like nuclear facilities, it is always best to have human interference at a higher level.
Thank you very much, Ali. That was all for you. I will ask a couple more questions to Mariam if it's okay. Thank you so much again. So for you, Mariam, one question I have for you is that you spoke about advocating for observable behaviors, if I'm correct. So what the question I have for you is that how would you advocate for AI that if they make any mistake, it's already too late? How can you advocate for observable behaviors of this kind of AI? Like I'm thinking about nuclear deterrence. I wouldn't like to advocate for observable behaviors that can make mistake of AI that if it makes a mistake, it's already too late. So what do you have in your mind about these kind of situations?
I brought up thank you for your question. I brought the naval vessels for the example of this recommendation, and why I brought them, because they represent a significant advancement in military technology and pose unique risks due to their ability to operate independently without direct human control. So naval operations, they often can occur in not unintended, but maybe unintended escalations, and by addressing the regulatory challenges associated with these platforms, I thought that policymakers could establish precedents and frameworks that would be applicable for other AI systems, if I got the question correct.
The question is more about observable behavior of AI that you can't really measure. If it's too late, if you find that they may be wrong. So how would you advocate for observable behavior of very delicate AI systems like the one responsible for nuclear deterrence? Is that clear now?
Yes, I think collecting the data and their patterns of behavior would be quite significant for future frameworks, to develop future frameworks. What else can I say about this?
Oh, don't worry if you don't want to add anything. I have another question for you actually. So you also talk about this very I really like your idea of like being of regulate chip exports to regulate the hardware export of AI to prevent the misuse of it, of having people with having that falling in the wrong hand. And I was wondering, do you imagine anything like this also for knowledge export? It's like AI most of the time is having like very powerful computer, but also have very specialized scientists or like AI of programmer working on this kind of tool. So do you imagine any sort of regulation or any kind of protocol to prevent scientists to go in the wrong places, if you know what I mean?
I imagine these kind of regulations existing. For example, the government can regulate research centers or specific individuals from spreading their or even selling their discoveries, maybe, or their research projects to international companies, to other governments. So they can be regulated by the government first, and then can go outside its borders.
Thank you, Mariam. That was all from my side. I'm happy to leave the stage to someone else.
Yes, thanks, Matteo, for those questions. I'm wondering, Ali and Mariam, if you had any questions for each other at all?
Maybe we can ask after Fernando.
Yeah, sure. Fernando, do you want to ask your question? I have some questions too, but I'll let Fernando go first.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I hope you can hear me okay. I have two questions for either of the panelists. Before that, hello, my name is Fernando Franco. I'm a PhD student at Kiel University, and I'm studying youth involvement in nuclear disarmament. And so my two questions are, one, considering the tradition of the Pugwash conferences to be being promoting the social responsibility of scientists with, the development of new technologies. I was wondering if you knew of any groups of, say, programmers, computer scientists, or AI developers who are taking the lead into anti-nuclear efforts, following the principles of the Pugwash conferences, meaning it should be some of the creators of these technologies who prevent unethical use of such tools. So that
Oh, are you still there, Fernando? I think we lost
was
you.
my first question.
Yeah, we got your first question.
And the second question is, it seemed to me that both panelists were suggesting that the IAEA could help in, oh, sorry, did you lose me? Because it seemed to me that the enhanced confidence, the forums that they organize and inspections. But since the IAEA mostly deals with peaceful uses of atomic energy and nuclear plants, I was wondering what kind of actual inspections could the IAEA do in terms of nuclear weapons and AI incorporation, especially if simulations seem to suggest that escalation is more possible with AI than without it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Fernando. Ali or Mariam, who wants to go first?
I think I will start with the second question because I don't have any clear answer.
Okay, sure.
First one. Thank you, Fernando, for your great question. I mean, IAEA is doing everything related to nuclear. So when we look at IAEA's mission, it is safeguarding, and there is also safety and security in terms of nuclear. But what IAEA can do with AI is tremendous. I mean, there are various possibilities. So IAEA can use AI to enhance its safeguarding mission. It can also use it for increasing the applicability of safety standards and security guidelines. So rather than using AI systems for different areas, I believe IAEA should be focusing on using AI as a support to what they are already doing. So because we already know that IAEA has some human resource problems because of the funding, because of the tensions between board of governors or because of the member states, so they cannot just hire lots of people. So in this regard, artificial intelligence can help IAEA to ease their work so that they can effectively work and take less times. For example, when an IAEA safeguard inspector visits a facility, they have to prepare a report. It takes time, but using AI technology, specifically developed by IAEA, things cut faster, and it can make things easier for member states as well. Other than that, I don't think IAEA is in a position to talk about AIs or develop AI because it is not their mandate, it is not their scope of work in this current framework.
Thank you.
Ali, can I follow up in that
Yes,
question
go
just
ahead.
really quickly?
Follow up. Yes, go on.
Thank you. Just quickly. So does that mean, Ali, if I understand you correctly, that IAEA can recommend and make sure that AI is used to enhance the safety use of the technologies with the existing nuclear weapons, but not much or nothing at all in terms of disarmament or non-proliferation, like preventing the incorporation of AI in the modernization of new arsenals?
Fernando, actually, IAEA has no scope of work to talk about nuclear weapons. Their mandate is about non-proliferation. So they are conducting safeguards inspections in order to make sure that member states are using nuclear technology for peaceful uses. So for any suggestions or any recommendations by IAEA in terms of nuclear weapons, I don't think it will be coming, but they might just call for nuclear disarmament rather than using AI for their existing nuclear arsenals. I don't think it is possible for IAEA to do that.
Lovely. I think that's a good answer. Mariam, did you want to answer Fernando's or address Fernando's first question about tech workers in either the nuclear or AI fields work calling on for arms control and disarmament? I think that's what he was saying. The ethical responsibility of scientists, essentially.
I think the ethical responsibility, we cannot actually not blame, but put the responsibility on or accountability on anyone regarding this question, because it's easy to know by whom the system will be carried and who deployed the use of force. But the question will be, will we attribute the responsibility to the military commander or the scientists or the designers who did not properly design some of the weapons? So these questions are, I think, probably hard to answer, but the best solution would probably be some political declarations on reaffirming commitment to human control, maybe, behind these forces, if this was the question, if I got it right.
I think so. I hope so. Fernando, do you think that addresses what you were saying?
Yeah, it's great. Thank you very much to both of the panelists. That was fantastic.
Lovely. Would anyone else, any other attendees, any other participants like to raise their hand or unmute and ask a question, or you can turn your video? Jan, go ahead, Jan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also to the two panelists. I think were two really interesting presentations. My question is more towards Mariam, but maybe if Ali, if you have any insights on your end, of course, I'm very happy if you would be chipping in. You mentioned a couple of quite intrusive measures, Mariam, on controlling AI, and probably in theory, would be very nice to have that to also like control the shipping of chips and everything. I would be happy to hear from you how optimistic you are about prospects here, because I think on the one end, we are struggling a bit with regulation of AI generally. On the other hand, even if you have more protectionist measures already, for example, from the US on controlling semiconductor industries geared towards China, they are more or less failing at that at times. So I would be interested what your perception is, how probable it is that we get these measures actually in reality.
Thank you for the interesting question. I think most of the times the dual use nature of AI is often brought up as an argument by private companies, and and they say that by banning those chips, AI chips, we also ban the civilian use of these technologies. But I think the private companies sometimes, I want to be optimistic that these private companies also sometimes face the moral dilemma and maybe will be under these regulations, acting under these regulations. But before discussing these topics with those private companies, I think it's essential to bring this up as on an international level first.
Okay, great. Was there a question there for Ali as well, or was it just for Mariam? I think it was just for Mariam. Okay, great. I'll copy Jonye. Do you want to go? I can see your hands raised.
Yeah, I just want to thank you both for a great presentation today, and for everyone else, I think has made some extremely interesting inputs and viewpoints. I wanted to ask a question to the two presenters. Either one of you, if you have a perspective on this, happy to hear your thoughts concerning something that I've seen, an issue I've seen come up in the issue of regulating AI, which not just AI but other emerging technologies, which is called the issue of cultural lag, I guess, cultural and legal lag. That's this idea that once you develop, sort of framework to regulate artificial intelligence and all these other emerging technologies, and suddenly new uses are sort of concocted of these technologies. Suddenly now they can do new things, and the previous framework you had did not cover these new applications. So it's like, that's been an issue that seems to have bedeviled attempts to regulate AI. Like they refer to it, I think, often as cultural legal lag. So because the development of these technologies is happening at such a fast pace, that's sort of outpacing the attempts to actually regulate them, you might say. So how trenchant do you think this problem is, and how what do you think about this issue?
It is a hard question, Hacettepe, and I don't think there is a clear answer to that, but I will try my best. Maybe Mariam can also help me with that after my answer. But regulating AI will be a hot debate, which will take, I think, more years than we assume, because every now and then there will be new application of AI, and then we will say, okay, we should also regulate this part of AI. So it will keep going on. But for my perspective, at least for nuclear security or application in nuclear technology, it should be there should be at least clear guidelines. So there could be some interpretations, there could be some comments about the applicability of regulations, but at least we should start somewhere, because in this current state, AI has no restrictions and it can be applied anywhere, including writing a paper and to controlling nuclear facilities. So if at least we have a clear guideline, then we can expect some other aspects to be considered. But for now, I don't think there will be a guideline or clear standard rules for international use of AIs, because of the conjuncture that we have. We have Russia on one side, we have US or Western states on the other side, we have other, let's say, global South on the other side, stating that, okay, AI has more opportunities for us, and we have China stating that, okay, AI has potential, so we cannot limit it. So considering that every state has different opinion about AI, there could be no easy regulation of AI. On the other hand, we have also tensions in different parts of the world, which will affect, of course, the negotiations for regulation for the AI. So considering all of these, it is really hard, but we should start at some point.
Mariam, do you want to go next?
I think AI's dual-use nature can be paralleled with the example of regulating chemical weapons and biological weapons at some point. But I don't think I don't know how fast can countries agree on AI prevention norms, because the difference between AI and chemical or biological weapons was that they've been used at a scale to create prevention frameworks. But talking about AI, we are at the very beginning of this process. So I don't think there's enough data or enough capabilities for prevention frameworks. Also, for example, the latest use of those kind of the lethal autonomous weapons in Nagorno-Karabakh also demonstrated that the spread of these weapons is basically uncontrollable at the beginning stage, and they've already been sold all around the world. So as well as this, there might be challenges regarding negotiations with so many parties around the world. For example, it must be the most difficult with countries like Russia, which usually neglect international agreements. But I think a consensus might be built upon mutual interests with these countries. Mutual interests such as, for example, the agreement that nuclear war cannot be won. Maybe this is my answer.
Great, thank you very much. We've got time maybe for a few more minutes left for any final questions. So if anyone hasn't had a chance to ask a question they'd like to, please raise your hand. And I'm monitoring everyone. I can't see any at the moment. I think I'll just ask my final question then while people might want to ask anything else, and maybe Mariam, Paul, Paul's applauding. I don't know, Paul, if that's a raised hand or an applause. I think it might be an applause.
It's a raised hand.
Oh, go for it, Paul, then. I thought it was a clapping hand. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
sorry.
That's all right.
This will appear obvious from one point of view and questionable from another, but I would be surprised if any informed person dealing with chemical or biological, let alone nuclear arms control, and would believe that we have effective verification of them. We have treaties which expect people to do proper things, and there's international pressure, but I don't think anyone believes that those treaties are adhered to by everyone, or that we have verification regimes which are capable of doing that. And this is partly for a logically unavoidable reason. There could be no such regime without some kind of UN connection and a P5 connection, and therefore the possibility of a veto. And we have seen that vetoes have been aggressively used, Russia at most, but potentially by others, and I don't exclude the US in this, to shield not only their own acts, but the acts of their client states and allies. Note, for example, the way that Russia has moved in the last few days against UN enforcement of sanctions against North Korea, an obvious pariah state. And yet it looks as though there will be no effective international effort against it. So my point would be that all nuclear arms control is difficult because it has this problem of the logical impossibility of developing an arms control regime which would work in hard cases. But arms control with AI, which is so intangible, which requires such intimate penetration of exceptionally secret and small and intangible things like operating systems and algorithmic instructions, seems unpresent experience, and we've had 30 or 40 years of this experience, to be impossible, to at least to the level that the security authorities in the various constrained countries or potentially constrained countries would accept. I advance that as a clear fact of the international arms control landscape. And if people think differently, perhaps we should talk about that.
Great, thanks, Paul. Mariam or Ali, do you want to respond to that? And then we'll wrap up.
I don't think we can say anything more than what Paul already said.
Okay.
Well, that simplifies a whole lot of the conversation we just had, doesn't it?
Mariam, do you want to respond to Paul's observation? Do you have a counter?
I agree with Ali at this point.
Okay.
So
Who agrees with me? So
the panelists have some agreement. That's great. Maybe I end on one question. I did have a question I did want to ask Ali, which was, do you see with AI, what you're saying, is that something which the nuclear energy industry is promoting? Is it something they're foregrounding as something with any nuclear energy renaissance that will make it more acceptable, more feasible? Are they promoting it, and what costs are involved to embed AI in nuclear energy?
That's a great question to close up our webinar. I know one thing for sure is that nuclear energy companies or nuclear operators, let me put it this way, they hate anything digital. So there are some nuclear reactors with monologue things. I mean, there is a resistance to digitalize nuclear facilities. So I don't think nuclear operators or nuclear energy companies will be for AI, because they think, okay, if there is a digital part of our system, it will be hacked, or there will be more vulnerability that we cannot afford to have. So, but this is their perspective. But on the other hand, we have regulators, we have IAEA, and we have innovation. So they cannot resist. At some point, they will allow it. As far as I know, currently they only allow AI technologies for basic controls for staff access. Other than that, they are resisting AI application, and even some operators, they don't even want to talk about AI, let alone implementing those in their facilities. So if we consider that there will be a nuclear renaissance, which I don't agree with what everyone says, because all the time there is a nuclear renaissance and all of a sudden it is not the way we expected. So there might be some more countries with nuclear power, but it will not be in a way that we expect that a renaissance would be. But the other thing is that there will be most probably more SMRs, small modular reactors, in Eastern Europe, in Southeast Asia, most probably in African states, and most probably in Latin America. Those SMRs will come with digital systems, and as they are currently being developed or designed, there might be more considerations for AI in their design. Other than that, when we consider the traditional nuclear power plants, it is a little bit hesitant from operators' sides.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ali and Mariam, for your presentations today. Lots of food for thought. I'm going to upload the video to YouTube, and that will give me a chance to revisit your slides because they had a lot of great information. Thank you to everyone for joining. I hope you have a great weekend, and see you for the next webinar, which will be with James Acton on the 8th of April. Looking forward to that. Okay, everyone. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Bye.